Okay, I think maybe now. This is dumb. Um, says start stop streaming and broadcast. I don't understand. Still says that it's waiting on me, but I've done. I did click start streaming and oh, okay. I oh geez, let's turn that down. Okay, guys, I am really sorry. I'm really dumb. Is I guess the ultimate takeaway here. So thank you everybody for waiting for my stupid brain to catch up for the last 5 minutes. If anybody can give me a heads up on my audio and video, that would be great. I think it's okay, but I really do like to get some clarification from you guys. So if you could do that, I would really appreciate it. Hey, Elias. My video from the chat. Okay. Yeah, I've got. Let's just do this. Can I do customization? It's good. Okay. I'm going to switch this. I thought, never mind. Sounds and looks good. Great. I thought there was something in here where I could change this. I guess it doesn't really matter. Cool. Look, as long as it sounds good and it looks good, then I'm going to take it. So thank you guys for all hanging out, coming by to listen to me ramble about probably a bunch of nonsense. But I do want to say thank you guys so much for helping me get to 80,000 subscribers. I, I honestly, like, when I started doing this, not even full time, but even like when I started making videos in like 2020 about home servers and that sort of stuff, I had fewer than 100 subs, obviously. And it's been really weird. It's been crazy to watch the channel grow and that sort of thing. And then yesterday, I got up and I was just kind of hanging out, and I noticed that like I had 79,991 subscribers, and I was like, it took my brain a second to realize, oh, that's really close to 80,000 subscribers. So I'm really stoked that you guys have been part of that. That we've been able to grow the channel together. That's been really neat. So really super appreciate you guys. And really, I just wanted to start off by saying thank you for that. That's been, um, it's not nothing I would have ever expected. So, hey, Ethan, how you doing, man? Glad to have you here. Let's see, we've also got Walladoo, and we've got Evan, and we've got Murray. Hey, Murray, how's it going? Um, Saz TV, David Williams, Elias. Thank you guys so much for coming by and popping into the chat. Really do appreciate that. That's why I do this. Honestly, obviously I apparently like to hear myself talk, but I actually really enjoy chatting with you guys in real time to see what you guys have got going on and that sort of thing. So yeah, so no, thank you again for all of that. Yesterday I released a video about DocMost, and was honestly shocked at how well that video has been doing. It's normally my videos get a couple of thousand views the first day, and this one's already up to like 7K, 7,200, which blowing my mind. If I'm being completely honest, I never would have expected that. And I think that video has brought in 42 subscribers. So if you're one of those new subscribers, thank you for subscribing. Thanks for joining. Really do appreciate you. Let's see, Sven, glad to have you here. Nasib, Wrangler, Mr. Pedro. I was going to screw up your first name there, so I apologize for that. Thank you guys all for swinging by. Yeah, Nighthawk said DocMost is a game changer. I agree. Hey, there's James Collins as well. Thank you for stopping by, dude. Appreciate you. DocMost was brought to my attention actually by Ethan Shelley's self-host newsletter that came in, I think on the 12th, and I took a look at it, and immediately recognized that it's got a lot of potential. Um, I've been using the Hedge Doc. That's the one. I've been using Hedge Doc for 10 months or something at this point, 9 or 10 months, and it had a lot of the stuff that I like, but DocMost really impressed me. Actually, the developer, the founder, whatever, commented on the DocMost video. And if you guys have got questions or anything like that, he said he would be answering questions in the comment section here, and of course over on their GitHub as well. So definitely check that out. Hopefully they will implement some of the stuff that has been brought up. I had a couple of things. There was one thing in that video I forgot. I really wish it had a forgot password, so that if you forget your password, you can reset it. I would love to see that. Anyway, I brought that up in the comments for them as well. So if you haven't checked out the DocMost video, you should. It's a great little application. And I know it's being actively developed and worked on, and I'm really excited about the direction it's heading. I'm going to screw this up, and I apologize. Tunke Ihan, I know I screwed that up. I'm sorry, but thank you for stopping by. Saz TV, thank you. Appreciate you for saying that. But yeah, I've just been trying to. We talked about this last time. I think it was last week when we did one of these. Still dealing with some of the medical stuff, but that's actually coming away. Let's see, Norsco, thank you for stopping by. User delete would be good as well for DocMost. I agree. Forgot password, manual save button, delete spaces. Yeah, 100% agree with all of that, guys. Anyway, so I just want to touch on this a little bit for those who are unfamiliar. I've got a whole slew of medical conditions, and I'm working on it. I've got a great medical team. But over the course of the last month or month and a half, my blood pressure has been scary high. Like July 2nd, it was 166 over 158. Anyway, I've been in touch with my doctors. I went and saw my cardiologist. They've got me on a new to me, vasodilator that has brought my blood pressure way down. It's still a little high. We're working on tweaking some stuff there. But now it's down to like 120 over 100, which that bottom number is still too high. But we're working on that. And he also ordered kind of an angiogram, a CT scan of my kidneys to figure out what the actual issue is. We've got it narrowed down to a couple of different things. So I'm working with my cardiologist, my nephrologist, which is my kidney doctor, along with my hematologist and all of these other people kind of in conjunction with each other to get some of this stuff in check so that I'm healthier and I'm able to do more videos and that sort of thing. Because I tell you, when your blood pressure's 165 over 158, it's brutally difficult to get anything done with the pounding headaches and just feeling like crap constantly. So so I'm working with them to get that done, and we're just kind of trucking along. And I've been feeling better. I've been feeling better for the last couple of weeks or week I guess, since they got me on the vasodilator. It's called amlodipine. I'm not going to give any medical advice. I'm not looking for any medical advice. Just giving a quick update as far as what's going on. I actually do feel better. A little bit of a headache over the last couple of days, but I also am prone to migraines. So I need to talk to my primary care physician about getting some more migraine meds, because I was taking those when I didn't realize that it was my blood pressure issue. Anyway, let's take a look. Okay, I'm glad to hear that I didn't butcher your name too badly. Really do appreciate knowing that. Saz, I'm trying to stay healthy. Let's see. Diego Luz says, hello from Brazil. I'd like to thank you for your videos. I recently met you in many of the projects I'm working on. I end up watching your videos and learning. Cool. That is honestly my end goal, is to help people learn Docker and to learn self-hosting. Sorry, I got a tickle in my nose. To learn Docker, learn self-hosting, do all that kind of stuff, and try to stay as safe as possible while doing it. Like, I really enjoy finding new Docker containers and new hosting solutions and that sort of thing. And when I find one I really like, I love sharing it. Um, so thank you for joining my journey here, and I'm glad that people are getting some use out of my content. I really do like knowing that. Nighthawk says you are getting better. Sounds like you're getting better and looking a lot better too. I am. Like I said, I am feeling a lot better. It's just where I just it seems like as soon as we get one thing kind of smoothed out, something else pops up, and that gets a little frustrating from time to time. But yeah, you know, we're tackling everything as it goes, and that's really all I can do. And I really appreciate you guys sticking with me through all of this. There have been plenty of times where I've really honestly thought about just giving up because the medical stuff was too much. But you know, whether I talk about it here or on my other channel, my kind of medical channel, um, I'm always getting a lot of support from you guys, and that really does mean a lot to me. So yeah, no, it's definitely helped keep me motivated, even though um, even though YouTube is going through some issues right now. And at first, of course, so at first I thought it was like just I was just being punished uh, for the amount of content I wasn't releasing basically over the past few months. But I've been watching other channels recently who have been running into the same issues of you know, they're producing a lot of content or the same amount of content or whatever, and their revenue has tanked. And I don't know if it's another adpocalypse. I don't know if it's YouTube screwing us over. I don't know if it's people using ad blockers and that sort of thing. I don't know, but yeah, revenue is down across the board for a lot of creators. I don't know if it's just in the tech space or if it's across the board because I don't like I typically watch tech and cars as far as content's concerned, and from what I've heard, uh, revenue is down across the board, and that's difficult. So I'm trying to come up with ways to supplement some of that. So yeah. So anyway, that's I just wanted to get all of the nonsense out of the way first. Um, Nasib says my home server is running because of you. I will only take partial credit for that. Like you took the initiative to find an interest. You took the initiative to find what you were looking for. You then look, and my content probably helped with that, but there's a lot of reading between the lines that you guys have to do with my content because my setup isn't going to be the same as your setup. My base OS isn't going to be the same as your. So like I will take some of that credit, but Nasib, a lot of that was you, man. A lot of that really was you. So well done on getting your home server up and running. Um, you guys got to give yourself some credit along with some of this. So well done. Oh man, the weather has finally broke here in Colorado. Um, I know that you know 98, 99 degrees isn't hot by comparison to a lot of places, but we're at like 6,000 feet where I live, and it was brutally hot for this area, and it just made it unbearable to do anything for the longest time. And right now, it's 79 degrees here in the studio, at least as far as this cheap Accurite thing says. And that's been making it a lot easier to get out here and record videos and do these live streams. Um, so yeah, no, that's been really nice. So, any you guys got anything going on? Any projects? Anything you'd like to see on the channel? Oh, let's see. Ethan actually brought something up as I was saying that. Any thoughts on the image licensing updates this week? If you're up to speed on it, I am not up to speed on it. But let's image licensing. Let's see licensing announcement. Let's tell you what. Let me see. Let me see if I can do this. Desk. Hey, there we go. Yeah, let's, can I do this? Nope. Tell you what, let me switch this. Give me just 1 second here. Deactivate and activate, maybe, maybe, nope. All right, it was worth a shot. Camlink 4K, that's not it. I don't understand. So we'll just turn that off. Anyway, Let's see, licensing announcement from Image. Hello, everybody. First, on behalf of the Image team, I'd like to thank everybody for continued support of Image since the very first day. Your contributions, encouragement, and community engagement have helped bring Image to its current state. The team and I are forever grateful. Since our last announcement, one of the goals in the new position is to foster a healthy relationship between developers and users. We believe that this enables us to create great software, establish trends. All right. Wow. Okay. So I'm just going to skip over. Like, I appreciate their appreciation and all of that, but server licenses are $100. And then there are lifetime licenses for individuals, which will be applied to a single user that can be used on any server they choose to connect to. Wow. And that's, Ethan, I'm actually really glad that you brought this up. Look, like Colin says, this is very much a hot take. I did a video about Image. Gosh, I don't even remember when, but I did a video on Image a while back, a couple of years ago, I think. And it was still in its early development, I think. There wasn't like it wasn't quite good enough to be a Google Photos replacement or an iCloud replacement for photos or whatever. And I've had a lot of people ask me about doing an updated video about it. And now I don't know if I can. And that sucks. I really wanted to do that, but hold on. Let me back up, right? Let's see. We want to build a great software application that brings value to you and your loved ones' lives. We are not using you as a product, i.e. selling or tracking your data. We're not putting ads into our software. We respect your privacy. We want to be compensated for the hard work we've put into Image. And I get that. With those notes, we have enabled a way for you to financially support the continued development of Image, ensuring the software can move forward and be maintained by offering lifetime licenses for the software. We think if you like and use the software, you should pay for it, but we're never going to force anyone to pay or try to limit Image for those who don't. There are two types of licenses. Okay. I'm glad I reread that, because we're going to go down to the FAQ now. Where can I purchase a license? There's the URL. Do I need both an individual and a server license? If you're an admin user and the sole user, or you have less than 4 users, you can buy the individual license for each user. If your instance has more than 4 users, it's more cost effective to buy the server license. Okay, what do I do if I don't want to pay? You can continue using Image without restriction. There will not be any paywalls. Okay, look, I'm really glad I kept reading, because that's a problem in today's societies. We just read the top. We don't. Sometimes I think that this kind of stuff should be put at the top, so that I don't know. I'm glad I kept reading, because happy to support this. The difference licenses is confusing. Yeah, I hope like Nighthawk said, they're talking about changing the terminology on it. I absolutely hope they change how they've worded this, because I feel like there are other ways that they could do that. I feel like people would be more likely to pay a couple of bucks a month versus this license. And I feel like license is even the wrong way to say it. It should be like I don't know, I don't know if license is the right word, based on everything I'm reading here. Practical IT with Jeremy says, congrats on the milestone. Thank you. Colin says they've since posted an updated message. Good. You don't have to pay. It's more of a contribution for the continued development. No paywall. That's why I'm glad I kept reading, because I initially read it as, oh, if you don't pay, because the term license will put like you have to have it in order to use it. Like, I'm going to pay you this. You're going to give me a key. I'm going to attach that key to my account or my server, and then it's going to keep working. Like, the way this first section up here is worded isn't great. It's it's misleading, not necessarily in a bad way, but it's definitely kind of misleading because when you get down here further, it's like, oh, you don't have to pay, but we'd appreciate it if you did. I feel like they need to have a preface or a preface, however you want to word that. I've always called it a preface. If you call it a preface, that's fine. But I feel like there should be something up here where it says like there are 2 licenses you can choose to purchase. But like there should be something parenthetically here that says, but isn't required, but we would appreciate it or something. Because my initial hot take was, well, no, I'm not going to review this because, but I had to read a couple more paragraphs to realize, oh, that wasn't the case at all. I feel like they're going to catch some backlash, or probably have caught some backlash and updated their messaging. But yeah, I totally get why they want to take donations or contributions or license fees or whatever. I get it. Life is expensive these days, and giving stuff away for free, it has to be a labor of love that you know that you're going to do for free. So I feel like there's other ways they could have done this. They could set up a Patreon or something similar where people could just donate $5 a month, and I think it would be more beneficial for them to do that, and people could just do that if they wanted to contribute, versus $24.99 and $99.99. I feel like $5 a month, $3 a month would be a lot more likely for people to do. And that's just because a couple of bucks here and there is a lot less intrusive than kind of a big upfront kind of thing. So that's kind of my hot take on that. Nighthawk says, I just updated to the latest and I'm still running with all of the features without paying. That's good. Like, yeah, no, I'm really glad that that's the case. Because yeah, it would be sad to see a great software like this go behind a big old paywall. So no, I get why they're doing it. I feel like their wording could be a little bit better. Let's see. I'm just checking to see kind of what's going on here. Let me see image. I just also want to see this. Let me come back over to here. Is that where I am? It is where I am. We've got contributors. I don't. So I'm looking on here because for like sponsorships, like they've got contributors and that's great. They've got their star history. They've got all of that and that's really good. And I have to wonder because like they've got 582 contributors here. It looks like Alex Tran is their lead, I would guess. And he's got sponsors. I'm not super familiar with GitHub with regards to how like sponsorships and that sort of thing works. Is it just the developers that can have sponsorships, or can the projects, like could Image also have sponsorships? I'm not knowledgeable enough about Image to know. Repositories, packages, people. It's verified. I'm not seeing anything in here. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything in here about sponsorships in apps. Maybe somebody else can enlighten me on that because I don't know. Like I have a GitHub where I've got a couple of scripts up for people to use, but I don't know if I don't qualify or I don't have sponsorships set up on my account, so I don't know. Yeah, quantity over quality subscription payments for them. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this could be handled differently and they would make more money in the long run. Because again, I really feel like 1,000 people, or you're more likely to get 1,000 or whatever arbitrary number people paying $2 or $3 a month versus people paying $25 or $100. Granted, it's lifetime. I don't know. I feel like people are more likely to spend a couple of bucks a month continuously, and then you would have recurring monthly revenue versus just random bursts of here's $25 and here's $100. You could just have monthly recurring revenue by doing kind of a, you know, 2 or 3, 4 or $5 a month in kind of a recurring, not subscription, but like donation setup there. But I am not. I am not a developer. I don't know what their needs are. I don't know anything about any of the people associated with this. So I may now that I know that, I may go back and actually I may actually go back and take a look at doing the video just to see. I still need to do another video this month. You know what? Let me. There we go. I still need to do another video this month. Gosh, it's already almost the end of July. As part of my deal with with the HL15, the home lab thing back there, and one of the projects we had talked about was doing image and doing a GPU pass through to help with that. So I may actually do that and see what I can do as far as doing a GPU pass through for that. Sorry, wife and kid are going back and forth there. So yeah, there's my hot take on image. I don't blame them. I just think it could be handled differently, I guess, is the long and the short of it. See, Nighthawk says people are just worried that a paywall would come next now that the feature is there. Yeah. And there have been a few apps that have gone that route. I believe that. I don't know that I've actually, maybe there was one that I ran into that was like that, but obviously in the grand scheme of things, it didn't matter because I don't even remember what it was. See, Jim says, I hope Image understands that without the users self-hosting their software, there is no value in it. And that's true. You're not wrong. But I think at the same time, I think the developers should be rewarded for the work that I think the developers should be rewarded for the work that they're doing. And I don't know how any of that will get split up between the developers and the contributors and all of that sort of thing. So it's hard for me to say much because I don't know how their organization is structured. I don't know what the pay schedules look like, if there are any. And again, on the flip side of that, Jim, without the developers continuing to do their thing, Image would lose its value to the self-hosters. It's very much a symbiotic relationship between the self-hosters and the developers who are working on it. And of course, people submitting, bugs and feature requests, and like it's very much a back and forth, give and take kind of thing. And I think that Image is big enough that maybe it does make sense for them to take on donations. I just, again, the word licensing announcement very much makes it sound like if you don't pay us, you can't use this software. And maybe that's the direction they're heading. They've said that that's not the case, that they don't ever plan on doing that. But yeah, this is, oops, and desk, there we go. Will there be any paywall features? No, there will never be any paywall features. So I hope they stick to that. I hope that nobody ever has to come back to this live stream and find that and use this to call them out on that. I hope they stick to that in their long-term plan. But yeah, no, it's their wording. I think it's their wording that's going to throw people off by saying licensing rather than we're accepting donations or however. Just I think it's just poorly worded is ultimately what it comes down to. But again, Colin says that they have since posted. Let me see, licensing announcement. Let's go back over to discussions. For tunnels. Okay, the Image core team goes full time. There you go. When was this? That was May 1st. And that's why. If they're going to have their core team going full time, they've got to pay the bills, right? And it looks like they're working with a company called Futo, Futo. Yeah, Image is joining Futo. Since the beginning of this adventure, my goal has always been to create a better world for my children. Memories are priceless. Privacy should not be a luxury. However, building quality open source has its challenges, and over the past 2 years, it's taken significant dedication, time, and effort. Recently, a company in Austin, Texas called Futo contacted the team, and Futo strives to develop quality and sustainable open software. They build software alternatives that focus on giving control to users. Computers should belong to you, the people. We develop and fund technology to give back. So it looks like they maybe have some funding there. But again, a team, the core team going full time, the core team still has bills to pay, that sort of thing. So yeah, let's see. Jorge, dude, thanks for joining. Appreciate you being here again. Anton, hello from Russia. Thank you for doing, or thank you for your doing. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for watching. Hopefully subscribing. Appreciate you, man. Let's see. And thank you, Jorge, for the congratulations there. Let me see. I don't even know if I got Discord on this computer anymore. Let's see. Oh, it's, of course, downloading updates. I don't get on this computer very often. I really actually have, like, I've got, like, this computer over here is the one that I've had for the last 5 years with the Ryzen 5 2600 and the 2070 and all of that has been out here forever. And the AUStar Gem 12 is actually my main PC in the house now. So that's something. Florida Metal Detecting. Hey, man, how you doing? Glad to have you here again. Man, Discord's taken forever to update. Come on. If you guys haven't joined the Discord, you should. We've got all kinds of stuff going on in there, with chatting and BSing and posting funny pictures. We've got we added an automation. I don't know what they're called. Channel. I guess they're called channels in Discord. We've got an automation channel in there. So if you're interested in Home Assistant and automation and that kind of stuff, we've recently added that. We've actually got a support forum. Oh, Colin says, I've got one we need a spicy DB tech take for. I am interested. And Nighthawk is right. We are friendly and helpful. We give each other crap. We always try to be respectful, but we'll absolutely give you crap when you need it, or when you don't. Sometimes it's unwarranted, but we always try to have fun, and we don't ever try to disrespect each other. So sorry, like Discord is finally coming up. Let me jump over to here, maybe, and then Docker and more. Is it here? Don't. Oh, here we go. Now we here. Let's jump back over to here. All right. Hello, everybody. Alex from Image. What a controversy we caused by the choice of wording. Okay, this was 2 days ago versus. No, that wasn't it. Let me see when this other one was. 3 days ago. So literally the next day. All right. On behalf of the team, we would like everyone to know that we hear your concerns. We appreciate the love and care that you've expressed for the project. At the end of the day, what we want most is to make sure you're all happy in using the app. With that said, we are working on changing the word license. We will not call it licensed or unlicensed anymore. What will it be called? We're still thinking of different options to change the wording to make it less confusing. The new wording will hopefully showcase our intentions properly going forward. Okay, they're actively working on that, and I'm really glad. We're also working on updating the FAQ with more information to clarify those intentions. We just want to provide good software that people will want to pay for while not limiting your usage in any way if you can't. Okay, I dig the hell out of that. I really appreciate that. So expect these changes over the next week. We're pushing this out now to let you know our appreciation for the feedback you've given us. The amount of purchase in the first 24 hours has been overwhelming. That's cool. I'm honestly touched by that. Thank you for the support. Have a great weekend, Image team. That's really cool. Thank you, Nighthawk, for sharing that in the Discord. Yeah, like this is the Discord right there. Anyway, yeah, thank you for sharing that so that I could find it more easily. I think that's great. I think I'm glad we're all on the same page as far as that being kind of confusing. What are your thoughts on mosquitoes, the world's most misunderstood bug? Okay, that's interesting, and I actually have thoughts on mosquitoes, at least a couple of them. first, I think they suck with regards to getting bit and the itchiness and the just them being bugs. I think they suck. But I last year um, last year we put a big above ground pool in our backyard because the cost of running the AC in the house was jacking up our power bill like a couple $100 a month, and it just wasn't worth it for us. So we spent like $1,000 last year and got this big above ground pool, and it immediately attracted like the biggest swarm of mosquitoes I've ever seen in my life. And then a couple of days later, it was just gone. Um, so sorry, I'm distracting myself. So, and a couple of days later, we noticed that big swarm of mosquitoes was gone, and we were confused by that, but we were glad that they were gone. And then one evening, we were out relaxing, kind of cooling off at the end of the day, and realized that our whole that just dozens and dozens and dozens of dragonflies had swarmed in to our backyard, and they're the ones that had taken over or had eliminated the mosquito population. So while I think mosquitoes suck as creatures, as beings, as bugs, as whatever, because they bite and they make you itch and they spread malaria and all of the nasty stuff that goes along with it. They're also really good food for for the dragonflies that we really like in the area. So kind of a mixed bag. I think honestly, in the last couple of years, I've only been bit a couple of times. So I'm not, it is what it is. But yeah, oh, son of a bitch. Thank you. I'm still really, really bad at live streaming. Yeah, so yeah, if this here's something for you. If this was me recording a video, I would have gone back through that whole spiel there to re-record it to put my stupid face in the way. So yeah, so I'm still learning when it comes to live streaming. I've gotten, I yeah, you do. And I've got this Stream Deck, but I've currently only got 2 buttons programmed on it, and that is to start and stop. I actually use two different recording softwares. When I record my videos here, I use one to record my Lumix G7 camera, and I use a different recording software to record my desktop. And then later I combine them in post. But I've got it set up so I can push one button to start recording in both apps and one button to stop recording in both apps. And it looks like I need to go through and add some more buttons to easily switch between the different screens. Because, yeah, so there we go. See for yourself. Hey, how's it going? Glad to have you here. Nighthawk's a smart dude, so he should be selling his services. Okay, C4, let's bring it down a notch, dude. I've acknowledged. Thank you for stopping by. Super appreciate you being here. Lorem Ipsum says, hello, I want to ask, sorry. I've installed an Nginx proxy manager trying to use it with the same network. Another container. So Lorem Ipsum, have you forwarded ports 80 and 443 from your modem and or router to the server, to the container that has Nginx Proxy Manager on it? If you haven't done port forwarding or can't do port forwarding, you can't use Nginx Proxy Manager. If you can't do that, I would recommend using Cloudflare Tunnels. If you don't want to use that, you could also use Tailscale or Zero Tier, or there's another one that's popped up recently. But yeah, you have to do port forwarding in order to get that to work. And even before you do that, you have to buy a domain, and then you have to forward that domain's DNS to your home's IP address, either directly or via a proxy like Cloudflare. So there are several steps. You can't just install Nginx Proxy Manager and expect it to work. There's a bunch of steps. I've made videos about it. Definitely check those out if you haven't already. Marcelo says, hey, greetings from Italy. Thank you for stopping by. Super appreciate you being here, man. Mr. Obese says, congrats on 80K. Thanks for testing all these projects and saving us a ton of time figuring out what works and what doesn't. I actually usually, I want to clarify that, usually super enjoy doing that. However, sometimes it's super tedious. And there are projects that I've done in the past that like I spent so much time on and I hated every minute of it. But in the end, the video did well. It was authentic specifically. No, not authentic. Wasn't authentic. I think it was one of those that was like authentic. It was a third-party authentication system. But yeah, so I really enjoy digging through here and finding these containers, and learning about them and going through them several times to learn their ins and outs, so that I can create content to help you guys not have to face all of the nonsense that I did. Because yeah, I really enjoy the troubleshooting aspect. I enjoy finding new things, and like I said earlier, I apparently like to hear myself talk. And so making videos is a good way to satiate all of those desires. So Cyberpunk says, congratulations on the subs. Thank you. Thank you to everybody who has subbed, all 80,000 and some change. We're 80,070, 76 of you now. Yeah, so thank you to all for subscribing and supporting me here. Norsco says, do you know Cosmos Cloud? I know of it. I have looked into it a little bit. Let me pull this up. So if you're not familiar with it, we can take a look at it together here. To me, Cosmos Cloud, and I'm just going to compare these two. I don't know which order they came in. Is very much like Casa OS. Or one of those where you've got a dashboard and you can install apps and you can manage those apps. However, based on kind of what I'm seeing here, Cosmos Cloud appears to be a bit more developed with regard to the dashboard and that sort of thing. Let's see. Oh, there's a demo. Let's look at the demo. Yeah, it looks a lot like Casa OS. Again, I don't know which one came up first. But, you know, they've got, it looks like some apps here, monitoring where you can kind of see what's being used and what's using it. They've got a marketplace, kind of an app store. So I dig that. I'm wanting to see, they do have Cloudflare, from Casa OS. And so they're actually giving credit to where they're pulling these libraries. That's cool. Serve apps. Yeah, no, that's cool. Maybe one of these days I'll look at that. Maybe we'll do that one of these days because it looks neat. And if I could set it up on Cloudflare, I would prefer to do that because there it is. Because I don't like to do port forwarding if I don't have to. I'm not really doing anything that Cloudflare is going to frown upon. With regards to the amount of traffic and that sort of stuff I'm pushing through there, even on their free tier. So yeah, I might have to take a look at Cosmos and see if I can get something set up with Cloudflare. Maybe I'll do some content on that if you guys are interested. Because it looks neat. Again, like I really like Casa OS, but it's still fairly early in its development and its maturity as far as what it's able to do. I know they're actively working on that and Zima OS as well, but they're also working on lots of different hardware. They've got a lot of things going on. So maybe we'll take a look at Cosmos at some point if you guys are interested in that. That would be pretty neat. Let's see. Is it possible for Cloudflare to decrypt my photos if I use their tunnel for image? Okay, so the short answer is yes, because basically, if you're using their DNS, you're also using their encryption, and basically, I'm going to say some words here, but they need to be contextualized. Okay, so they're basically man in the middling your traffic, right? They're routing your traffic, they're encrypting your traffic, they're doing all of this stuff. So they have the encryption keys for their encryption. So if they really wanted to, they probably could They could probably decrypt your stuff unless you're encrypting it yourself. If you're doing an encryption on either end, or obviously both ends of your transmission, like on your PC before it goes to your server and vice versa, they would only be encrypted. They would only be encrypting your encrypted data. If you're not encrypting your data, they could, in theory, decrypt whatever you're transmitting and look at it. But self-hosters, for the most part, if you're not doing a bunch of illegal stuff, they have no interest in your data, right? They're not going to get anything out of looking at whether it's pictures of your dogs or your kids or your butthole. They don't care, right? What they're doing with the free tier is they're analyzing traffic patterns and finding different ways to optimize the way they're doing things so that they can offer better services on both the free tier and the paid tier. So those of us using their free tier our traffic is being analyzed so that they can optimize their systems. However, to my knowledge, and I've only ever talked to a few different people at Cloudflare over the years, to my knowledge and what I've seen, they don't care about what data you're transmitting. They just want to look at the traffic patterns for the sake of analyzing it and making their systems better. So, oh, hi, Impasta. Interesting. Sorry, we manage a feral colony for the Humane Society here in town, and one of the ferals just came in briefly. We call her Impasta. There's a whole story there, but anyway, let's see. So Naga, I hope that kind of helps answer your question. They can, but the likelihood of them doing that is very, very low. Unless you're transmitting, I'm just going to call it CSAM data, CSAM. Go Google that on your own time. I believe they have stuff in place to look for that kind of data for protection, to make sure that kind of content isn't being transmitted across their network. But as far as your regular everyday whatever, they're not going to do that. See, Cyberpunk says, I've actually started to build my own containers built in my lab with Git and GitLab for someone and Jenkins for CI and 2 container registries. The first one I built my own Pal World server. Dude, that's really cool, man. Like I'm not into Pal World, but I dig that. That's really cool. I've never actually built my own containers. Like I've done, little like tutorials and that sort of thing for just kind of getting a gist of how it's done. But I've never actually built my own containers. I don't really have much of a need for it or the desire to do it. I think is really more than anything. Let's see. Norsco says, thank you so much for your review. Absolutely. Glad to do it. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for subscribing and joining the chat. Self-host game servers and media servers are interesting. I've done a couple of game servers. I did one for Minecraft. I did one for Valheim. Technotem has a really good one for a pterodactyl server, so you can manage multiple game servers within one dashboard. I've tried a couple of different times to get into pterodactyl and I didn't have the patience for it. Media servers are tricky as far as doing videos on those because some of the people who are reviewing videos don't have any idea what they're looking at. I put out some videos that were up for years, and then all of a sudden they broke terms of service, and maybe they did at the beginning, and maybe it just took them years to realize that's what that content was about. I don't know. But like Jim's Garage did a video the other day about hosting a Plex server, and got a warning and took the video down and had to post it over on Twitter. You never know what somebody at YouTube is going to think is piracy, what is illegal, or whatever. And as a result, we as creators making videos like this have to be super, super careful about the kinds of content that we produce. At any point, somebody could get the wrong idea about a piece of content, and it could kill your channel just almost instantly. So that's kind of a fear that a lot of us live with in the back of our brains when we're trying to come up with content ideas. Let's see. I might throw Cosmos. Yeah, Nighthawk. If you do that, let me know. I would love to know what your thoughts are on it. Tanmay, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for the congratulations. Really appreciate it. Sven says, would it be a good solution to use a VPN through a Cloudflare tunnel? No. Cloudflare tunnels basically are VPNs. So trying to VPN through a VPN gets things convoluted and overly unnecessarily complicated. You can, like, if you want to, you can actually set up a Cloudflare tunnel and use. They've actually got like a kind of a VPN app that you can put on your desktop and on your servers and that sort of thing. That will only let you access your services remotely if you're connected through their Cloudflare like VPN app. That is an option. If you're going to try to do a VPN through Cloudflare, I would go that route. What I do is I've got a tunnel set up for an app, and then depending on the app, I either have it open for everybody, like dbtechreviews.com runs through a Cloudflare tunnel and then goes to a box back here. Several of my services are like that, but I've got stuff that I only want accessible to me and my wife or whoever's on my local network, and I've got those apps restricted by IP addresses. Whether it's my home's IP address or the dedicated VPN IP address. I've got those two set up as allowable IP addresses to access certain things on my network. So there's a lot of different ways that you can protect yourself and protect your applications from prying eyes using Cloudflare tunnels without it getting overly complicated. So, hopefully, Sven, hopefully that helps. Carl says, hey DB, all well. I've got my OMV server app up and running on the Dyn DNS to work, and Jellyvin finally running like it should do. That's amazing. That's really cool. Holy crap! It is raining out there. Anyway, Carl, I'm really glad that that's working for you. That's really cool. Glad to hear that. Everything's going all right. I mean, we're still working on some medical stuff in the background and still trying to figure out some stuff with regards to content and that sort of thing, but definitely working on it. Tanmay says, hey chat, what is the best way to automate stuff in Windows environment? You're going to have to be more specific before we can answer that. Yeah, like Colin says, like, what are you looking for? Naga, thank you for the donation. I really appreciate that. And Colin says, well, not completely user intuitive. Windows does have task schedule. That's true. Configurations, network stuff, and first install this one. Oh. See, Cyberpunk says, I'm lucky to have a static home IP. I only have a port open for WireGuard and use Cloudflare. Yeah, and so it's funny you mentioned that, Cyberpunk, because with the weather the way it's been in Colorado over the past couple of weeks, I think last week we had 5 power outages. And every time my power goes out, I get a new IP address. It wasn't like that, and that's with Quantum Fiber. And they're great. I love them. But they don't currently offer a dedicated IP solution. I reached out to them a while back and asked. They're working on it. They just don't have it yet. When I was with Xfinity, basically IP addresses, they weren't like dedicated, but they were just basically assigned to a modem. So like I had the same IP address for years, just because that's the way they had it set up, and it was great. But now that I've got Quantum Fiber, they don't have dedicated IP addresses. So anytime you unplug your modem or your whatever that box is called, I'm still not up to date on all of the lingo there. But basically, when your modem reboots, you get a new IP address with fiber, at least with Quantum, and they're working on dedicated IPs, and I'm so looking forward to that. But again, I don't have any ports open because I'm using Cloudflare tunnels because it works for me. But I know a lot of people like to use WireGuard, that sort of thing. So, do you want? Let's see. Carl says, I've spent over a week and a half to get everything fixed. I believe it. Sometimes what seems like it should be a simple fix ends up taking so long. My wife gives me crap about that very, very often, and deservedly so. Let's see. What do you want to manage? Docker containers, Portainer, other software? Do you have a recommendation for program monitor available for container upgrades? So, Sven, I guess, what do you use to manage Docker containers? So, I honestly, primarily, I use Portainer. I've been using it um, for so long, for like almost 4 years now. I've been using it, and it's just kind of my comfort zone. Um, that's what I use for most things. Very often, I will just deploy something via command line, and then there you can update containers very easily in Portainer. You can actually update containers fairly easily via command line. So it's really all about what your comfort level is. Maybe I should do a video about how to do it both ways. Maybe I should do a video on how to update a container via command line, and then also how to update a container via Portainer. I've already done a Portainer video, but it's been a while. Maybe I should do another one on a couple of different ways to update containers again. Cypher says, "Sup, hey man, how you doing?" Watchtower. So here's Cypher. I'm actually glad you brought up Watchtower because um, I use Watchtower on. I've got a Synology NAS right there. That I've got some stuff on there that's not like super highly mission critical, really. And it every Thursday at like 5 o'clock it runs updates and does what it needs to do. However, I've had Watchtower really screw me over. That's not fair. I have had Watchtower configured incorrectly, and it really screwed me over. Um, if you're going to use Watchtower, you should always make sure that you've got a very solid backup solution in place. You should also make sure that you've got notifications turned on for it with a mail server or a Discord server or whatever their options are. Doing automatic updates with Watchtower can really bone you if you don't have the right configuration in place for backups and that sort of thing. But again, I'm a hypocrite because I've got it set up with some stuff that's not mission critical. So Watchtower is a great solution, in my opinion, to get notifications when there are updates available. There's also Doin or Tuin that does something very similar as well. I don't want to call it a competitor, but it's an analog to Watchtower. And it's yeah, and of course, Nighthawk is way ahead of me on that. So set up Windows systems, fresh installed, one-click setup. Tanmay, you could just use Nighthawk's scripts, or Chris Titus's scripts. I use, like when I'm, let me do this. When I'm setting up a new system, I like to go to nightknight.com because then you can come in here and you can say, I want to use Chrome and Firefox. I like Steam and WinRAR. I use Discord. I like K-Lite codecs. And maybe you want Spotify. I like Spotify. I use that still. I'm actually a big fan of Revo uninstaller. I use that a lot. And then so like once you've selected all of the apps here that you want to install, you can just scroll down and click on Get Your Night, and it will download an installer. And when you run that, it will just automatically install all of those applications. And then later, you can run that same Night exe file here again, and it will update those applications as well. So I think between the Chris Titus Tech app and this, you might be set. I also agree with Collins, what he said there with regards to you could just basically what you would do is you would just install Windows, get it set up exactly how you want it, and then just kind of create your own restore image with that, and then deploy that every time, and then run updates. So Watchtower is notify only for Collins. That's good. Cyberpunk says, I actually wrote my own Ansible playbooks to install Docker containers, and finally, after months, I have built my own toy OpenStack environment, but it uses 24 gigs of RAM and less than 8 for wow. Pretty heavy, yeah. Dione, thank you, Nighthawk, I appreciate that. Ethan says DocCheck is a great solution for updating Docker images that streamline the process, provide update notifications while automating and while not automating and breaking things. Huh? You have to look at DocCheck, dude. If you guys aren't familiar with Ethan, hold on. I'm gonna do two things here, and then we're gonna do self-host. Ethan, who's here, Ethan Shelley, who's here in the chat, does a weekly newsletter, and it's great. Like I honestly, I get a lot of my video ideas from these because he is so much more in the know about a lot of the stuff that's going on behind the scenes. He's also got a podcast that I was on the first episode of that. But like this one, there we go. Like here, we'll just kind of scroll through this, like this and last week in self-hosted, and it's just like what's in the news, software updates, new software, breaking changes for Dozzle, latest directory apps, community content, more from self-host. There's just a lot of really, really good stuff. This is where I found DocMost, was actually from the July 12th newsletter. And then, what we're listening to for like podcasts, Command Line Corner. Like, there's all kinds of really, really good stuff in here. So if you're not subscribed to the newsletter, you should be. If you're not subscribed, you're really missing out on some good information there. Cypher says, I'm getting a third computer tomorrow, so I'm finally going to build a Proxmox, or a proper Proxmox high availability cluster. That's awesome. I really dig that. I had one of those set up for a while and loved it. Until I didn't. Colin says, check out Patch My PC if you like Ninite. I've never even heard of Patch My PC. Let's take a look. Solutions, application and patch management. Well, yeah, if you're a billionaire, what are you talking about, Collins? Maybe I'm looking at the wrong thing. I don't know, man. For years, and I found Patch My PC and Switch. Interesting. I'll have to look at that in more detail at some other point. Personally, use Winget. I've actually thought about using Winget. I've also looked at Chocolatey, but Chocolatey is all command line, and I think Winget actually has a UI. So yeah. Read more and learn about it. Thank you very much. You're welcome, Tanmay. Thanks for stopping by and asking questions. Really appreciate that. I have been getting the weekly newsletter through Feed and really like reading up on the weekly news. Yeah, dude, absolutely. Like I always look forward to like getting up Friday morning and drinking my coffee while I'm skimming through that. So I really dig it. I don't know for a fact, but I think Ansible has support for Windows, but I don't know how well it integrates. Yeah, I got very, very, very little information about Ansible. It is just go to the home updater solutions. Oh, home updater. Okay, I gotcha. All right. Oh, wow. Okay. That's cool. Thank you for the clarification on that, Collins. Appreciate it. Try to Ansible, learned it from Jeff Geerling. I don't think it works very well for maybe. Yeah, dude, Jeff Geerling's super knowledgeable. His book is great. I think I actually bought a PDF version of it, and I don't know where I put it. Russell Moorfield says, what's your recommendation for a cross-platform backup solution? SyncThing, maybe. I used to use that for my phone as well as my computer. So I would probably go SyncThing for something like that. Like right now, I've actually got my phone set up to back up to my Synology device, because sometimes the corporate solutions really are better, and I know that makes me a bit of a sellout, but I recognize that. So yeah, let's come back over here. So yeah, I think I use SyncThing and your backup. I'm actually not familiar with your backup. I don't think I am. Maybe I am. Let me see. Um, the website kind of looks familiar, but I don't think I've ever actually used it. And I agree with Nighthawk there as well. Same thing is nice, but you have to make sure that it's set up the right way. If you don't have it set up the right way, it'll absolutely screw up your backups. And I know this because I ran into that issue the first time I set it up. I had a couple of things that ended up overwriting each other, and it was just a disaster. Cyberpunk. Both running Docker and TrueNAS, or running Docker on TrueNAS. Gotcha. Your backup was stressful for me. I could never get it to work. Yeah, and that's honestly, guys, that's why, like, I don't have any. I've got okay, I've got very limited experience with TrueNAS. I think I had Scale installed. Um, I've got no experience with Unraid. Some I've got some experience with Proxmox. Honestly, a lot of that was thanks to Collins, if I'm being completely honest. And Nighthawk helped out a bunch in there at the beginning too. And I appreciate the Proxmox ecosystem for whether it's VMs or LXC containers or just generic containers that I've installed Docker on. Their backup and restoration solution that automatically combines into their base OS. It has been so easy for me to use, and it has saved my butt so many times. I'm basically all in with Proxmox at this point. Like, I've got it set up on too many PCs, and the HL15 back there. They're all running Proxmox, but not in a cluster, because my ultimate goal in an upcoming video is I'm going to move everything off of those mini PCs, decommission them, and get everything moved up to that HL15, just so that everything is more centralized. So that's my long-term goal. Let's see. Doc check looks like a great solution. It does. I agree. Martin Higgs says, congratulations on the 80K. Well deserved. With all your health issues, it must be a boost. It really is. It really is. So I've always been kind of a dark humor kind of person. Like, I came from a real traumatic, I guess, childhood upbringing, that sort of thing. It is what it is. I'm well over it. But as a result of the way I was brought up, dark humor has always gotten me through a lot of my roughest times. And like in 16, when I was hospitalized for like 5.5 months, lots of dark humor, but humor nonetheless. And it's helped me through a lot of this. But at the same time, it is nice to not have to rely on that. It's nice to say, okay, that's another goal, that's another milestone. I'm gonna keep pushing. I'm gonna keep pushing. Gonna keep doing this thing. So yeah, it's definitely a nice little perk. If I come over to my analytics, like I said yesterday, when I released the video yesterday about DocMost, that video did like 6,000 views the first day, which is almost unheard of on my channel. But that video alone, let me find this. That's not what I wanted. Subscribers. There we go. I ended up with almost 80 subscribers yesterday, and like I've been doing like 20 to 30 lately, so that was kind of a nice little boost as well. So I'm hoping that this will help kind of bring the channel back into an upswing. Also, like I said, the weather has kind of chilled out, so that makes it easier for me to be out here recording videos and that sort of thing. So, yeah. Let's see. Dude, Collins, thank you for gifting memberships. That's awesome of you. Really do appreciate that. Tammy says, anyone using ZFS and Snapshot for backup, is it worth the hassle to learn for a home backup solution? I'm using ZFS on my setup, and I don't have any issues. when I have to do, like I ran into an issue recently on the HL15 with my Plex, and I was using the wrong type of SSDs for what I was trying to accomplish. I was running Plex on SSDs, and it just constantly writing to them. They started throwing errors, and so doing having the backups and the restorations and that sort of thing made it super easy. And I never had any issues after I moved them off of the SSDs and just onto spinning regular old 8 terabyte drives. Everything's been great since then. But I use ZFS for all of my storage. Why am I out of focus again? You suck. There we go. So I use ZFS and snapshots without issues at all. Do any updates on your health? What's the future look like with regards to the channel? So I guess we'll just take a couple of minutes and talk about that. My blood pressure has been through the roof for the last month, which didn't make any sense because I've been actively eating better. I've been actively losing weight. I've been actively active. All of those things have been going the right direction, but my blood pressure shot up. I've been working with my hematologist, my cardiologist, and my nephrologist. So blood, heart, and kidneys. And we think we've got it narrowed down to a kidney issue, which doesn't surprise me because I've got chronic stage 3B kidney disease. And that sucks, but it is what it is. So we're working on that. But one of the drugs my cardiologist gave me as kind of a temporary stopgap is a vasodilator, which just means that it makes the blood vessels kind of expand back out because the underlying condition I've got constricts them. So that's kind of a mess. The problem is when you've got my underlying condition with the kidney disease, the amlodipine, which is the vasodilator, can cause swelling. And I actually noticed that this morning for the first time after being on the amlodipine for about a week. So we're working on, I've actually got some diuretics called Lasix that I'm going to start taking again to help offload some of that fluid. It's very common. It's not a big deal. So we're still waiting on, I've got an appointment on the 24th for them to do a CT scan of my kidneys to see which part of my kidney is actually causing the high blood pressure issue. It's either the veins and arteries going to and from my kidneys, or it's something in the actual filter nodules, whatever, in the kidneys that's causing the issue. We're not sure which. We're going to find out hopefully on the 24th. So that's kind of the health update, which also could be causing other issues like my too many red blood cells, too much hemoglobin, my hematocrit being too high. All of that could be tied to the constricted blood vessels as a result of my kidneys being stupid. With regards to the channel, I'm going to keep making content as long as I can, as long as it makes sense. The problem is, and I talked about this last week briefly, and there were a lot of people that donated money, and I appreciate that. I don't want this to turn into me e-begging. I want to be transparent. Let me see if I can find a video that I can share some data on, just so you guys can kind of see what's going on. I tell you what, let's look at this one. All right, let's take a look at my Open Media Vault 7 video. Again, I'm not trying to ask for money. I'm not trying to ask for donations. I'm just trying to be transparent about where my disheartening has been coming from with regards to YouTube. This first Open Media Vault 7 video I did on June 27th has done about 12,000 views, almost 12,000 views, 783 hours of watch time, 90 new subscribers, and I made $42 in ad revenue on that. So if you do the quick math on that, it's not good. If we come over to revenue, we can see right here. Let me actually zoom that in a bit, right? So advertisers are paying $17.09 per 1,000 ad impressions on my videos. However, I'm getting paid $3.70 per 1,000 ad impressions on my videos. So YouTube takes half. That's fine. Let's call that. Let's use even numbers here. Let's call that $8. It's $8.54, whatever. We're going to call it $8, right? Would be half. was what I should, in theory, be making on this video. I should be making $8 per 1,000 views, but I'm making less than half of that. And I don't know where the discrepancy is coming from. And I don't, and it's not just me. Like, there are other tech channels that I watch who have also mentioned that their ad revenue is way down right now. Like, advertisers are paying a decent chunk of money to advertise, but the creators aren't getting nearly what they should be for the views that they're getting. Like, my ad revenue for that first video, based on the views and what, like, if let's say it's $8 and YouTube takes half, or let's say it's the $17 and they're taking half, so let's call it $8.50. I should be making about $8 per 1,000 ad impressions, which would mean that this would be closer to like $90 is what I should have made on that video, but I made $42.32 since I released that Open Media Vault 7 episode 1 video. So that's where things are frustrating for a lot of creators, because then we have to see if we can find people who will advertise, or who will do purchase a 60 or 90-second ad spot that disrupts the video, and hope that it won't piss off our viewers. Like, it's this cat and mouse game of trying to create the content we want to create without disrupting the content. So what I've tried to do over the last, I don't know, year and a half, I don't even remember how long it's been now, is I always release 2 versions of my video. Almost always. I should caveat that. Basically, I make one video that is general release, that goes out for everybody to view, and I'm always going to put ads on, or almost always going to put ads on that, the YouTube ads. If I've got a sponsor spot to put in there, I will put that in there as well. That said, I've also got a different version of that video that doesn't have a sponsor spot in it and doesn't have YouTube ads placed on it. And those videos are made available to those videos are made available to patrons and channel members. I appreciate both sides of. I appreciate both of those groups of people. However, when you become a channel member, YouTube takes half of that as well. So let's say I set up my channel memberships to be $5. YouTube's going to take $2.50 of that. So that's frustrating, again, as a creator, that they're putting their hands in every pocket that I've got. So I actually prefer Patreon for a couple of reasons. With Patreon, and they've changed some of this recently. With Patreon, when you sign up to be a patron for a creator, whether it's $1, $5, $10, whatever it happens to be, right, you get charged immediately. It didn't used to be that way. It used to be that, let's say you signed up on say July 3rd, you wouldn't get charged until August 1st, and then I wouldn't get that access to that revenue until August 5th. They've since changed that. When you sign up to be a patron, you immediately get charged, and I immediately have access to those funds if I need them. And that has actually saved my butt a few different times over the last couple of months. And so that's why I honestly prefer Patreon, but I understand that Patreon doesn't work for everybody. So I'm never going to say, no, don't do that. Don't go become a channel member. If it makes sense for you to be a channel member, if you can do that, great. But it's more, also Patreon only takes a very, very small percentage of my revenue because I've been on Patreon for so long. I got grandfathered into their initial program where they just take a very, very small percentage of anything that comes in. So again, that's another reason that I prefer Patreon over channel memberships. So I say all of this because I'm trying to find the right balance of finding sponsors who will pay me to advertise their product or service, and trying to create content. And I'm wearing all of these different hats trying to do all of this stuff, because currently right now I can't afford to pay somebody to help me with that. So it's a lot to deal with. But I want you guys to know that I'm thankful that you guys are supporting me, that you're watching my videos. Whether you're a patron or a channel member, or you're just liking and subscribing, it all actually amounts to something, and I super appreciate that. So I don't want you to feel like I'm not, like, I super am appreciative. But I like to be transparent when I can, when people ask me these questions. So I rambled for a while. Let me go back up. Any updates about your health? Okay, that's where we started. Hope you're doing well. Long time viewer videos. Hope you're okay. Sion Das, thank you for your comment. I appreciate that. Cyberpunk, not sure why your message was redacted. Oh, I deleted. Okay. I'm actually glad you brought that up, because sometimes the bot that I've got in here, Nightbot, has a mind of its own, does what it wants, and redacts stuff that I don't understand why. Did you click on the notify subscribers button when you publish the video? Oops, what's this? Whoa.
It's the Washington Post. It's for real.
Wow. Okay. Sorry. Just nothing that it actually directly affects. Anyway, it's fine. Do you click on the notify subscribers when you publish the video? Pirate software suggests not clicking that to get some discoverability. Wait, what? Yeah, I do have notifications for subscribers turned on. I don't understand how turning that off would do me any good at all. How much do you make when a YouTube Premium watches your videos? That's actually a really good question. So I don't know, YouTube Premium is like $15 a month or something, right? So YouTube is obviously going to take half of that because that's what they do, which leaves about, you know what, screw it. Let's say there's $10. Let's say using round numbers that YouTube Premium is $15. Let's say YouTube or Google or whoever takes 5 of that. That leaves $10 left basically in a pool. And over the course of your monthly subscription to YouTube Premium, if you only watched my channel, I would get that $10. But it basically, my understanding anyway, is that the YouTube Premium money that you pay each month gets split across the different creators you watched based on how much you actually watch of each of those creators. I may have misread that. I may not be right, but that's my understanding of how that works. So if you watch, let's say you watch 10 creators and you watch each creator for the exact same amount of time, each of those creators in theory would get $1 of your money. So YouTube Premium is great in the respect that the viewer doesn't get ads. Like I have YouTube Premium because it's like $15 a month, and I want people to get paid for me watching their content, but I don't want to deal with the ads. So I pay the $15 a month for Premium. But I also, when I have the availability, will go buy a T-shirt from a, whether it's I did like Lawrence Systems and Jeff Geerling, Awesome Sauce before he became Bitwit. I try to support the creators by buying their merch if they have it. I've done some Patreon things for some creators that I've appreciated in the past. But at the same time, I also used to be one of those guys that used an ad blocker, and so I'm guilty of it myself. I don't do it anymore. I block ads on certain websites for the sake of not having the intrusive ads and the malware possible injection and that sort of thing. But yeah, so that's hopefully, Sven, hopefully that kind of answers your question. Cyberpunk, dude, don't worry about it. Like I appreciate you having supported me and other creators as well. I totally understand what it's like to have things change. I do. So take care of yourself, take care of your family first, and then if you can help support other creators, absolutely do that. Yeah, Tanmay's exactly right. As long as Cyberpunk says, as long as I don't see a stupid segue, it just makes me angry and funny. Yeah. And I think, yeah, LTT is really leaned into that, their stupid segues. And it's kitschy, it's whatever, but I've also kind of lost interest in it. Also, I always skip over their segue to their sponsor, and I also always skip over their little video intros. I don't like video intros in YouTube content. Um, we're not television production companies. We don't need anywhere from 10 to 30 seconds of an intro to get to your video. I tried it for a while. I tried to keep them like 3 to 5 seconds, but it always felt forced. It always felt, I hated doing it, and I always skip the intros whenever I can. Yeah, actually, Tammy, I do have a coffee account. I think it's linked somewhere, um, but um, but yeah, I don't promote it very often. I'm more likely to promote my page or my PayPal, um, because coffee is just connected to PayPal anyway, and coffee is just kind of an intermediate between the two. And if you just go to um, like paypal.me/dbtechreviews, I think you can just donate directly to my PayPal account there. Um, but yeah, so yeah. Anyway, I do have a coffee account. Um, can you show your media plan? I don't my media plan like my. I mean, I can show like my demographics for. Let me take a look at my audience here. Um, I mean, sure. I mean, this is so over the last 28 days, I've had 37,000 returning visitors, and 106,000 unique viewers, 1,000 subscribers over the last 28 days. Here you can see every time I've released a video or done a live stream, new versus returning, videos growing your audience, like, similar channels. All of that is here. This is why I usually release my videos at 6 o'clock on Wednesday and Saturday mornings, is because of this little chart right here. What your audience watches, which is other things where I might get inspiration to create other similar content. Subscriber notifications. Subscribers who turn on all notifications for your channel is about 10.8, which is kind of at the bottom end of what's typical. And then 5% of my audience has all notifications and has enabled YouTube notifications. Again, right at the very bottom of that. Formats your viewers watch on YouTube: videos, shorts, and live. It looks like my audience kind of watches all of that. Not subscribed, 78% of my viewers are not subscribed. And that sucks, but I get it. Subscriber numbers don't mean what they used to mean anymore. Views are king right now. Subscriber numbers are nice for the creator, and they help them generate, different revenue points for negotiations and that sort of thing. But views are the more important thing in the grand scheme. Top geographies: United States, Germany, United Kingdom. None of that really surprises me. Age and gender, for all females, 3.7%. That's actually nearly quadrupled in the last couple of years, so that's cool. I dig that. And then, of course, primarily male. That doesn't surprise me at all. And then my typical between 18 and 54 is kind of my age range. And most people don't use subtitles, but some people do. That is, that's kind of demographics. Oh, geez, it fell out of focus again. Holy crap. I thought I had that fixed. But there you go. Got to bail, it's the wife. Oh, Collins, happy anniversary. Hope you enjoy yourself. Turn the notification button on. YouTube tries to notify a few subscribers that are asleep or don't hit a satisfactory CTR. Doesn't really. Yeah, I don't know. Like, and I've to talk a bit more about content. All right, so let's take a look at that, Tanmay, since you got since you got questions. YouTube search is 42.2%. You know what? I apologize. Let's zoom in so we can see this. Okay, so overall, YouTube search is 42.2. Browse is 19. External, which could be any number of things. 15%. Suggested videos, direct or unknown. Others. There you go. There's that. Top videos in the last 28 days. This video is so old. This Chrome OS is missing or damaged. Like if we take a look at this, yeah, November 25th of 2019, and it is still getting views, almost 393,500 views. You know what, while we're here, screw it, let's look. Yeah, so like here, this is a perfect example. Right, so how much are advertisers paying? $12.58. Like that's how much they're paying per 1,000 impressions of their ads. And I'm making exactly half of that. In fact, a little bit more than half of that on this video and a couple of others. But on so many of my newer videos, I'm making 25% of what advertisers are paying. So yeah, that's actually, I'm glad that popped up. But yeah, here is, okay, well, you FO dude, like seriously. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so YouTube search and browse features. External is some, but there you go. I hope that gives you the information you're looking for there. So yeah, it's really a crapshoot, and it seems like lately the content that I like to produce doesn't pay well, and that sucks. But you know, I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm enjoying it. I'm still making a little revenue from it. And again, thankfully, I've got patrons, channel members, occasional donations, things like that have really helped. Sorry, I've got a bunch of notifications over here. I need to look at. Yeah, I know. Yep. Oh. So anyway, yeah. That's kind of the state of things right now with regards to the channel and with regards to my health. I've got a ton of tabs up here that I'm going to dig through later to kind of see what other ideas I've got for content. Just why haven't you done it? TrueNAS. All right, so let me see. Cyberpunk says, out of curiosity, why haven't you gone in on TrueNAS? I use it for Docker backups, file storage, media automation, VM storage. A fair question. It really is a fair question. So the reason I guess I haven't, and again, it's part of my sellout nature to some degree, is that behind me, right there where my finger is, you can't really see much going on there. In fact, you can kind of see the little light right there. That's the power light on my Synology DS1621XS Plus. And on that, I have a VM set up for Proxmox backup. Almost all of, well, in fact, let me rephrase that. All of my important services that are up and running, that are like I would call mission critical stuff, whether it's password managers or documentation sites, whatever the case is, all of that is running Proxmox. And so I've got Proxmox configured to connect to that Proxmox backup server, and everything gets backed up to that. From there, I've got another NAS lower on one of these shelves behind me that is also a second backup of my Synology NAS. I need to do a third backup offsite, but I just haven't done it yet. I've been kicking that idea around for a while. I just haven't done it yet because I've been busy with other things. So I haven't had a need to set up another piece of hardware to install TrueNAS to set all of that up, because I've already got my Synology NAS set up with my Proxmox backup and all of that. So and then also if I need storage, when I had my Proxmox high availability cluster set up on the Zima boards, I actually had an NFS share set up on that same Synology device, and I used that, and it worked really well. So setting up a separate piece of hardware to get into another operating system that I'm not familiar with, and because I'm not familiar with, I don't trust, because I'm not familiar with it, just made me really uncomfortable. so that's honestly that's why. I know that TrueNAS is a great product. I know Unrated is a great product, but I've got a great product here as well, that's kind of dummy proof. And when I'm having a bad headspace day, I need something dummy proof. So there you go. Um, Tanmay says your search rankings are pretty strong for the terms you're interested in, but I guess viewership is very niche, and that's really it. And that's oftentimes the niche thing is the issue, um, because like I want to do other content, I want to talk about other things. The problem is when I do that, it's a coin flip, right? Like I genuinely expected the video about the AU Star Gem 12, the little mini PC that I did a video on July 3rd. I thought that video would absolutely tank, and like it didn't skyrocket, but it did almost 6,000 views, which I was honestly super impressed with. Um, so it's always a coin flip on whether or not, if I step outside of Docker containers, is the video going to do well? And it's a risk every time I do that. Um, and so yeah, I'm always cautious about stepping too far away from Docker and Proxmox and that sort of thing, especially lately, especially with the way YouTube ad revenue has been. It's if a video fails, that's possibly 30 or 40 bucks that I'm out. Because right now, I'm not picking up any advertisers who want to pay me to advertise. They want to send me stuff. Whether it's that AO Star Mini PC, whether it's the desk I'm sitting at or the chair I'm sitting in, both of those I still need to do videos on for FlexiSpot. Everybody wants to send me hardware in exchange uh, for for a video, right? And if I take money in exchange for a video, um, then I can't give an honest review. And right now, the only people who are reaching out offering money are people trying to scam either me as the creator or you as the viewer. And I've had to decline several paid sponsorships recently because I didn't want to run the risk of one of us getting scammed. So I've missed out on some money there, and that's fine. I would rather take the hit than anybody get scammed. Um, so hopefully, yeah, that's kind of that. Sorry, I forgot you used Synology. No worries, man. It happens. Like I don't expect anybody to remember any of the stuff in my network stack. Did you make a video about CrowdStrike? I didn't. I had never even heard of CrowdStrike prior to the outage. Had no idea it existed. Um, I secure all of my stuff locally. I've got a firewall set up through my network hardware. Um, Beyond that, I've got my ONT. That's the word I was looking for earlier. For like I don't have any ports open on my network. I don't have any port forwarding at all, and all of my stuff gets run through Cloudflare before it goes to my network stack here or anywhere. So Cloudflare first, then no port forwarding on my ONT or my modem, whatever, and then the firewall through my network solution. So I've got multiple layers of things going on there. Look, I'm not saying that I'm impenetrable. I'm not saying that at all. I'm always as cautious as I can be because I have been compromised in the past. A company reached out to me with an ad spot offer, and I opened the PDF, and it wasn't a PDF. It was a screensaver file with malicious code in it that compromised my entire system. And it took me a week to fully recover from it. But because I got when they compromised my system, they immediately email bombed me. So they used an email bombing service. They just overloaded my inbox with signing me up to all kinds of different newsletters and websites, all kinds of stuff. But before they email bombed me, they managed to get a hold of my Amazon account and signed me up for an Amazon Audible subscription. And I was like, what the hell is this? And I looked and I realized, no, this is a legit thing. What's going on? And I jumped in and immediately changed my Amazon password. And then I got email bombed. And it took me about half an hour to realize how to sift through this email bomb with the least amount of effort possible. And then it was just a matter of kind of sifting through and everything and changing passwords on everything. Luckily, most everything I've got has two-factor authentication through hardware keys that I keep on my keyring. So yeah, that's how I secure my stuff. Is a very multifaceted approach to as much security on as many things as possible, even though logging into my own stuff sometimes is a very tedious process. But it's better than having it open and run the risk of being compromised. So. Tammy, that's exactly right. That's what it was. It was social engineering. Like their email looked legit, and they have tried probably a dozen times since then to hit me, and I've called them out every time. Like I respond to them, I'm like, dude, really? Like, and I like in my emails, I'm like, you're gonna do this, and you're gonna do this, and you're gonna do this, and they always use the same email domain. And that's stupid. Like at least mix it up a little bit. But they always use the same email domain. And as soon as I get an email from that domain, now it just gets filtered straight to my trash. But they're getting lazy, which I appreciate. But yeah, no, it's I have been compromised like that, and it sucks, you know. But it is what it is. I just have to be very diligent about what I'm doing, and that sort of thing. So yeah, that's kind of what I've got going on. Most YouTube channels got compromised due to session token. Yep, that's true, Padme. And I hope that YouTube has since. You know what's frustrating, and I'll come back to this. I'm going to circle back around, I promise. I have. Basically, we'll call it 3 PCs, right? I've got the one I'm sitting at now. I've got the mini PC in the living room with my little desk set up there, and I've got a laptop. And I use all 3 of them. Like I use the mini PC in there more often than anything. I use this 2 or 3 times a week, this PC in here, and the laptop every once in a while when something comes up, I'll pop that open and do something there. And the number of times that I have to have my keys with me to prove that I'm still me, even though I was just looking at an email, when I come into here, into the studio and get into my email, the number of times I've had to prove I am me is frustrating. I appreciate it, but it's frustrating. And it's, I hope that when that big session token issue happened, I would hope that Google, YouTube, Alpha, whatever, right? Like I hope that they would eventually have the wherewithal to be like, oh, this user's IP address changed from Colorado. Nope, stop, quit. Sorry. I said magic words and my phone was like listening. Anyway, I would hope that they would recognize that, oh, this person's location changed from Colorado to somewhere in the Middle East or somewhere in Russia or somewhere in Ukraine. Instantly, I would hope that they would just say, oh, that doesn't look right. You need to re-verify. And end that session token and make them log back in with a username, password, and 2-factor authentication. I don't see why that's so difficult. Yeah, and I agree with that too. It's dumb that YouTube allows you to delete videos, change channel name without having to input a password. Meanwhile, keeping it annoying for every time I open Gmail. 100%, man. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. Is that it would be so easy for them. I would think. I'm not a Google engineer, but it doesn't seem like it would be that hard to implement. Like, oh, your IP address changed dramatically, not just from like Colorado Springs to Denver, but like Colorado Springs to Yugoslavia. And we're going to let you do all of that stuff without trashing your session token and making you log back in. It doesn't seem like it would be that difficult, but again, I'm not a Google person, Google engineer, so I don't know. Maybe it is much more complicated than I think it is. I don't know, but yeah. So I hope they get that fixed. I just try to be very, very diligent um, about the emails that I open, the links that I click. If somebody sends me a Bitly link, I will copy that Bitly link over to like you can just Google like Bitly expander and drop it in there, and then grab the URL from there. It'll go to that URL on your behalf basically, and then you're not having to do that. But yeah, just as a content creator, I have to be very, very careful about the emails I open, the emails I respond to, that sort of thing. So Cyberpunk says, if Netflix can tell that you're not in the same house, how come Google can't? Yeah, exactly, exactly. And security is always inconvenient. Yep, it really is. And that's, I actually did a video about a password manager called Passbolt. That was like the epitome of that. Like super, super secure, would be great for people that were high profile people, whatever, right? Super great for them, but for the average home labber, for the average person just trying to have a password manager, it's why I said I couldn't recommend Passbolt as kind of a home lab solution, because it's a different passphrase or password or whatever on each device. And if you change it on device A, it doesn't affect the passphrase on device B. So you're always having to try to remember different passwords or passphrases or whatever on each individual device if you're trying to stay truly secure. And I just, for the sake of using Passbolt on like a home lab solution, it just didn't make sense. And that's why I made the video saying I can't recommend it for this scenario. And I took some heat for that. Because I misunderstood their intent, whatnot. No, I get the intent. It's just for the average home labber, it's not. I couldn't recommend it for that scenario. If security isn't inconvenient, it isn't working right. That's 100%. Right, Escuela. I apologize if I screwed that up. Says it should have something so simple that it doesn't let you change the password without double factoring without using two-factor authentication. Absolutely. Enter your old password to basically log back in. Like my bank does that. Like anytime my IP address changes because of a power outage, like I have to then connect to my VPN with my dedicated IP, log into my bank, because I've got my bank account set up to only be accessible from two IPs, my home and my dedicated IP for my VPN, right? So if my IP address at home changes, I have to get that IP address, make note of it, connect to my VPN, log into my bank account, go over to the IP configuration settings, log back in to go to the next step there and use two-factor authentication. And then I can update the allowable IP addresses for my bank account. I understand that is banking level encryption, but YouTube is our income. Like it should also be treated as banking level encryption and security for the sake of keeping people out of the account that shouldn't be there. I would absolutely take that all day, every day, versus some of the oversights that I've seen over the past couple of years, from big channels, small channels, whatever. Like I actually had a channel that was following me, decent sized channel, 145, 150,000 subscribers. And it kind of sits down in the bottom of my dashboard when I get logged into my YouTube dashboard. And it's like, here are your most recent subscribers for the last 90 days. If they have that, if they allow that to be seen from their own account, right? And I recognized the little icon. It was kind of a yellowish icon with some black text and whatnot in it. I don't remember the name of it. I apologize for that. But then one time I logged in and it was a Tesla icon, and I was like, no, that's wrong. So I reported the account saying that it had been hacked, and now that channel doesn't exist anymore. And I feel really bad for that creator. I don't know if they got their channel back. I don't know, but But yeah, just some of the oversights that have been made, like it's been mentioned, security on this kind of stuff should be inconvenient. I should have to have a phone number and a two-factor authentication, like an actual hardware key, and there should be multiple levels of authentication to get to a point where you can delete everything and change a channel name. It doesn't seem that hard for them to do that. And yes, it's going to be inconvenient for some people. And yes, maybe it will deter people or some people. Or maybe you make that optional. Like when you first sign up for your account, be like, look, here's what we recommend, but you can go this other route. Just know that your account will not be as secure. I know that's extra work for the developers, for the engineers, for all of that, but for the sake of people who rely on YouTube income to help pay their bills, I think there's more than a million of us that would just immediately sign up for all of that in the blink of an eye. Let's see. Most publicly known personalities who are non-tech savvy have started only doing transactions above a certain amount in person with their account managers. Yeah, because of voice replication tools. Yeah, those voice and those types of voice replication tools have been in play for a while. There was once that my grandmother almost got scammed um, because my cousin. Oh, no, let me rephrase that. My grandmother almost got scammed because she received a phone call from somebody who was pretending to be my cousin, saying that he'd gotten into some trouble and was in jail and needed bail money and all of this. And luckily, they called me to see what was going on, to see if I had heard anything about my cousin. And I had just talked to him like earlier that day, and I was like, "That is absolutely not true." And I reached out to him right then, and he's like, "No, I'm at home. I don't know what's going on." So they immediately shut it down. But like you said, the voice replication, and because I've got hundreds, thousands of hours of my voice online, my voice is super easy to replicate. Like I've done it myself just because I was looking at other options for a while when I didn't have a voice. Um, I was looking at other options of ways that I might be able to still produce content that sounded like me. I didn't go that route, obviously. But yeah, it's scary, the technology out there. And I don't know if you guys watch Philip DeFranco. I've been watching him for years. Um, Today is the worst AI will ever be, and tomorrow will be the worst AI will ever be. Like it's only going to get better from here. Whether it's image generation, music generation, voice cloning, whatever the case is, today is the worst it will ever be again. And it's just going to keep getting better, and it will never get worse. And unfortunately, our lawmakers are all a billion years old and don't understand that. So as a result, they're always going to be too far behind the curve to make laws to protect consumers with regards to AI and that sort of thing. So we have to rely on local leaders, local governments, local things to help protect us from a legal aspect, from that kind of stuff. But it's scary. It's scary out there if you're not tech savvy enough to know what to look for. Um, Cyberpunk says Pirate Software spoke about how he told his bank to only bank with him when I'm present. Um, yeah, and that's a great idea. Like some people will also will get a hold of their local police department if they're afraid they're going to get swatted, and they will set up like code words. Like if I don't say this word, it's not really me. Things like that. So um, it's the lengths that we're having to go to as online personalities or whatever you want to call us. The lengths we're having to go to is getting ridiculous, but it's kind of like the tabloids used to be, right? Like, and even now, like, celebrities can't even go out for coffee without paparazzi snapping pictures and posting articles about what kind of coffee they had that morning. So it's kind of similar with regards to once you're kind of in the public eye, um, this kind of stuff kind of comes with the territory, and you have to be conscious of it in order to not get taken advantage of. And I've had it happen to myself, and it sucks. Tammy says, my mom got scammed by a person pretending to be calling on behalf of the bank, claiming she forgot to pay her loan premium. Yeah, I've actually, my grandma had something similar to that happen. She got hit with the extended car warranty scam. She believed it. it all got situated. She got her money back, but it was they were taking like hundreds of dollars a day from her accounts, you know, and she's an 80 something year old woman, you know, who's got a little bit of a nest egg and gets, you know, gets her pensions and things like that. But yeah, no, they almost wiped out her bank account by taking hundreds of dollars a day from it. So it sucks that people are like that. Lost Invasion, thank you, man. Really glad you stopped by. I'm actually getting ready to wrap this up. You've been at this. If I could make my mouth work, make my words work for a couple of hours, and I like to kind of wrap these up after a couple of hours for right now. But again, Lost Invasion, thank you for stopping by and hanging out for a couple of minutes. I appreciate you. I think Pirate Software also trains his local police department to be prepared, call ahead, safe word, password strategy in case of swatting. Exactly. JD, dude, no, man, you are late, but don't be sorry. It happens. I'm trying to do live streams on Sundays. I just haven't come up with an actual dedicated time to do it yet. So I'm going to try to figure something out about that here soonish. It seems to be like 10:30, between 10:30. Man, I need to get off here. It seems to be I've been doing these between like 10:30 and 11 o'clock starting times, at least Mountain Standard Time or Daylight Time or GMT minus 6 or 7, or I don't even know anymore. I live in Denver or near in the Denver time zone, and I usually start between 10:30 and 11 o'clock on Sundays. Snack time, dude. Thank you for stopping by. Happy Sunday to you. I appreciate you being here. Like I was just telling JD a moment ago, we're actually getting ready to wrap things up. We've been at this a couple of hours, and I like to just hang out for a couple of hours to chat and do that sort of thing. So, but you were watching the F1 race. That's cool. F1, I guess F1's getting ready to change big in 2026. Engineering Explained released a video that I haven't watched yet, so I have to check that out. But yeah, so that's change from one Docker to another. I mean, sort of snack time again. Like I all of my stuff is on Proxmox, so migrating from one Proxmox host to another is dead simple when you're using that. If you're not, there are ways to do it, but there you go. Looks like Nighthawk's got an answer for you there. Cyberpunk, dude, thank you for hanging out for as long as you did. I really appreciate it. Cyanor Chan, I apologize for screwing that up. Thanks for stopping by. Really appreciate it. I appreciate your support. And Tanmay, yeah, like I'm usually pretty transparent about anything I can be, legality permitting and whatnot. So yeah, like I always try to be open and honest about what's going on with me, my health, the YouTube channel, whatever the case is. So yeah, I think that's actually a pretty good time to wrap this up. To everybody who was here, I appreciate you. It really does mean a lot that you guys are willing to support some dude who's just sitting in his garage making videos. And I'm going to keep making the videos as long as you guys keep watching them. Thank you again for all of your support. Hopefully we'll do this again next week, Saturday, probably between 10:30 and 11 o'clock Denver time. I'll try to be more proactive about getting that scheduled ahead of time, though. So thank you, Express IT Tech Tips. Appreciate you. Appreciate all of you who are here, who were here, who have left. All of you, thank you so much. And I will catch you guys in the next live stream. And hopefully